What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today, there's a new level 7 Digimon to talk about. We don't talk about level 7 Digimon very often. We don't get many level 7 Digimon. Well, Millenniummon is here to change our mind. This is awesome. And stop me if you've heard this one before. Shout out to the lovely Jason Snowjacks for providing our translation. And let's face it, right, we're going to get into what it does in a second. We're going to do a nice big analysis of the card. But let's be clear, we need to compare this to Omnimon. There is absolutely, or Omegamon, depending on which name you're using. There is no way we can look at the second level 7 card we've ever seen without doing a pretty hefty comparison to the first, and until now, only level 7 card we'd seen. It's pretty important, so yes, that is going to be a theme running through this video. I'm sorry? Now, starting off with the stats, we see 13,000 power. Now, on the one hand, 13,000 power is extremely high. On the other hand, it's not like out and out over the top stupid broken high. Like it's higher than the vast majority of level 6s, which is nice. But then again, it's 2,000 lower than Omnimon. So it's not exactly like out and out phenomenal here. It's good, don't get me wrong, right? No one's arguing this isn't a high amount of power, but it does take a significant dip over the others. And do bear in mind that although Grankuagamon technically does have 11,000 power, on your turn that goes up to 15,000 power for a significantly cheaper Digimon, so the power is kind of low if I'm honest with you here. And we see, in terms of cost, it is allowed for not at all. It's still a 15 cost to play normally, bearing in mind there is a hard limit of 10 memory. So if you've got 5 memory remaining, you can play this and put your opponent at maximum 10 memory. But if you've got fewer than 5 memory remaining, then your opponent can just stop you playing this by never giving you more than 5 memory. And then it is 6 cost to evolve, and it will evolve either from a black or a blue. Now, we've not really seen very many black at all here. We have seen Machinedramon, that is a level 6 black, but that is the only one we've seen in terms of black. We'll see more, obviously, over the next few weeks, but that is the only one we've seen so far. But this evolves from blue, which means that now, if you're playing a blue deck, which is proving to be the best deck around at the moment, then you can evolve either into Omnimon or into Millenniummon, and you've actually got 2 different options. Red and black have 1 option each, and green and yellow and purple still don't have a level 7. So I guess we're all going to keep playing blue decks then. But what does it actually do? Well, it's got 2 skills. When you evolve, you return one of your opponent's Digimon to the bottom of their deck, discarding any evolution sources that they might have. So the top level of that Digimon goes to the bottom of their deck, everything else gets discarded. And this is not a million miles away from Gaia Force. Gaia Force is just an option card that destroys your opponent or one of your opponent's Digimon. This isn't technically Gaia Force, but it really is not very far away. Now, the difference is Gaia Force as an 8 cost option card, bearing in mind this is a 6 cost evolution, and then you end up with a gigantic Digimon out as well, which is a bonus. It just destroys one of your opponent's Digimon. This gets rid of all the evolution sources, and it puts the top card on the bottom of their deck. But bearing in mind, when you run out of your deck, you lose. If you cannot draw a card during the draw phase of your turn, you lose. And as it stands at the moment, we don't have ways to shuffle your deck. Some card games do, maybe we will in the future. But as it stands at the moment, we don't actually have any ways to shuffle your deck. And the reason you want to shuffle your deck is, oh, it's on the bottom of my deck. Now I shuffle it and it might still be on the bottom of my deck, or it may have moved further up my deck. That's a good thing. Really, putting it on the bottom of their deck is tantamount to just removing it from the game. They can draw it, but here's the thing. It's the bottom card of their deck. They draw it. Maybe they can evolve into it and use it right now. They can't play it, because if they play it, it's got summoning sickness. They can't use it this turn. And then when they start their next turn, they lose because they can't draw a card. So they've basically got to play it as an evolution and use it right now. It's not technically removed from the game, but this is way better than a card like Cocytus Breath, which returns one of your opponent's Digimon to their hand, discarding all evolution sources. If it's in their hand, they can reuse it, and maybe they pay over the odds and pay the actual cost rather than the evolution cost, but they can still get it into play. Putting it on the bottom of their deck takes away that opportunity. This is an extremely powerful skill. It is as good as just taking out one of your opponent's Digimon. Oh yeah, and when it's destroyed, if you had any evolution sources, you play this card from your trash without paying its cost. That's ridiculous. If you have a single evolution source, you play this card from your trash without paying its cost. Yes, when you play it, it will have summoning sickness, so you won't be able to use it this turn. But then again, it will be played probably during your opponent's turn when they destroy it, and then it will be readied at the start of your turn during the active phase. That's ridiculous. Now remember, it is playing, not evolving, so you're only going to get the skill once. You don't get that first skill over and over again, but basically getting what is essentially a free Gaia Force when you evolve is kind of redonk. Then you've got 13,000 power, which is ridiculous, and if it's got any evolution sources, you keep playing it over and over again, that's dumb. Now, I say over and over again, it's not really over and over again. Let's say you've got a bunch of evolution sources. You get destroyed. I've got evolution sources. But then you just play it as a level 7. And you don't have any evolution sources. And because you don't have any evolution sources, the next time it gets destroyed, you are gone for good. But to put this into some kind of context, right? What essentially is happening is you are paying 6 to evolve into this level 7. You are taking out completely one of your opponent's Digimon. You are then left with a 13,000 power Digimon that when it is destroyed, comes back. That's just ridiculous. And there are ways around it. You know, Millenniummon, when you Digivolve, you discard 4 evolution sources from the bottom of one of your opponent's Digimon, and Blue does have a whole bunch of other cards that can be used here. Millenniummon very much being one of the best, but then you've got a Gabumon that attacks and takes out an evolution source. So that will work quite nicely. That's the one that came around in the starter deck. And then there's a Garurumon in the starter deck that, again, when you attack, just takes out an evolution source. And then let's not forget Nail Crusher, which is literally an option card that removes all evolution sources from all of your opponent's Digimon, though as a 7 cost is a very expensive card. My point is, your opponent can play around this, but they've got to play around it. And if they don't play around it, they've literally got to destroy this Digimon twice. Once you've taken out a Digimon, when you've evolved up, it's basically a generic 13,000 power Digimon. There's no extra security attack or any of that. But you get to use it twice because when it's destroyed, it comes right back. I mean, there's a brilliant combo here, right? With that card from New Evolution that gives one of your Digimon blocker. So, for instance, a yellow card. What you do is you play Testament, it's a free cost, gives this blocker, lets you block anyone, and even if you go down while blocking, you just come straight back again. Because it is when destroyed, not on your turn, on your opponent's turn, etc. Make no mistake about it, this is the second level 7 we've seen, and we've already seen that Omegamon is redonkulous. Absolutely redonkulous, and is seeing a lot of play and a fair bunch of success in the extremely limited tournament sampling size we've seen so far. I don't see this as any weaker. Is it better than Omegamon? Well, when you evolve, you destroy one of your opponent's Digimon and all of their Digimon with the same name, and when you attack, you may return a level 6 from your evolution sources to your hand to make it active. So you take out all Digimon with one name rather than just one, and you get to make yourself active by putting a level 6 in your hand, which you can then play, rather than essentially taking out a Digimon and then coming back when you're destroyed, and you're 2,000 power less. I think they're pretty much on a level. I like coming back from deletion more than I like making myself active once. But I prefer destroying all Digimon with one name than essentially just deleting one Digimon. And I don't like losing 2,000 power. The good news is, if you're playing a blue deck, you literally get to choose either or both of them, and that is a little bit silly, ladies and gentlemen. This is a phenomenal card, and we should all be pretty gosh darned excited to start having a play with it. But I'd like to know if you're as excited as I am about this, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi, where we talk Digimon and a whole bunch of other games, and please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, all kinds of good stuff. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.